ingin mendapatkan penerangan dengan lebih lanjut. So mungkin we have some time there. Just makluman, insyaAllah, this is the faculty installment of bimbingan kepada ahli fakulti tentang FRGS 2023. So kita juga ambil maklum dari USIM, kita ada kita punya PPPI, Research Management Center, who has been very happy to also conduct their own workshop for social sciences and humanities, also by academics from University Kebangsaan Malaysia, Professor Dr. Zulkifli Abdul Karim. So this is just announcement untuk ahli fakulti pengajian bahasa utama. So you can attend today's workshop as well as the one that is centralized in USIM. So that will be held, I believe, on October 5th. Okay, dan pagi ni juga saya just nak push a reminder that we've got Geran community that they have announced today. That will be on Keluarga Malaysia, I believe. And then also, I think it was yesterday that was sent to InfoPro. Kita ada Geran Harta Tanah Negara. I think one of the themes that we can try to venture is the inclusivity in building housing townships. So perhaps we can come up with models. So kepada ahli fakulti yang berminat boleh sign up dalam InfoPro tu. Kita ada Geran Harta Tanah Negara. I think it's a very generous funding. I tengok juga tadi dalam around 500,000 per application. So I'm not so sure if it's 500,000 for natural sciences ataupun applied sciences, tapi agak generous jugalah. So something yang kita boleh venture juga. Okay. Dr. Raihana, do you anything that you need from me, from us at this point?
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, so kita akan mulakan. Saya akan mulakan dengan membaca credentials and introduce our esteemed speaker for today in case you may have not known her, in case you have known her. So this is just a refresher. Okay, Associate Professor Dr. Rahana Muhammad Maidin has earned her PhD from University of Malaya in 2008 on literature and culture. She has a master's degree from UKM in English Language Studies. Her bachelor's degree is from University of Exeter. I hope I pronounced the name right. In teaching English as a second language. Her current university position and affiliation is Associate Professor of Literary Studies, Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Her current administrative responsibilities, she is the Deputy Director, Center for Teaching and Curriculum Development, UKM. So if you have seen her all around town, in television, in award ceremonies, that's her. Okay, she's famous at that. Also, I want to also introduce her research accomplishments. She is also a proud recipient of FRGS grant, a framework of collaborative authorship in transmedia story world for social activism. She is a recipient of the grant, The Social Culture of Imperfection in Popular TV Series Through Literature and Audience Narratives, Psychosocial Climate of Vulnerability in Popular Culture, Disabled Literature and Inclusive Society, Negotiating Islamicness and Malayness, Mapping the Malay Mind Through Malay Popular Culture. Among some of her reputable publications include, but are not limited to, Kajian Malaysia. She has published in Jordan Journal of Modern Languages and Literatures, Asiatic, IIUM Journal of English Language and Literature, Kemanusiaan, Space and Culture India, Critica Cultura, and International Journal of Humanities and Culture Studies, just to name a few. And she has also committed herself to community services. She's currently the editorial board member of 3L, the Southeast Asian Journal of English Language Studies. She's also a committee member or evaluator for National Academic Award, Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, Anugerah Akademik Negara from 2015 until sekarang. She's also, not only, she doesn't stop there, She is the award recipient of 2021 Icon FSSK for Excellence in Teaching 2021, very much recently awarded to her. Recipient of the 2014 National Academic Award for Excellence in Teaching. Recipient of 2014 Anugerah UKM Excellence in Teaching. Recipient of 2014 Best Teacher Award for Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities. Without the slightest doubt in my mind that she is the qualified, most certified academic to talk to us about FRGS. Okay, Associate Professor Dr. Rahana, I think I hope I have given you the warmest welcome to all faculty members. Kepada yang tak kenal, kepada yang kenal, welcome is just a refresher for you. Okay, take it away, Associate Professor Dr. Rahana Muhammadin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Muzaffar, for that very, very warm and gracious introduction. You know, listening to you go through my bio, I'm like, wow, really? That's me, you know? So, because yesterday I was moderating a keynote for an international conference in UKM, and I was introducing the keynote speaker from US, a professor from the US. I'm reading her bio, you know, I'm like, wow, she's so impressive. And I'm listening to somebody read my bio right now. I'm thinking, wow, not bad, you know, 26 years, not bad, you know. So, but I am very humbled by this opportunity. I've attended sessions with other universities, and I put USIM as one of my close to my heart. You know, you all are constantly inviting me for various things, so I'm very humbled. So terima kasih banyak saya ucapkan kepada pihak kedekanan fakulti. Dan khasnya rakan saya, Prof. Madya Dr. Muhammad Muzaffar, yang saya kenal lama, seorang yang berkaliber, scholar juga, penyelidik, penulis jurnal yang sangat reputable. So Alhamdulillah, terima kasih kerana peluang ini. So I'm going to go straight into it. Kalau ada soalan, rakan-rakan saya mohon masukkan sahaja dalam ruang chat. What I plan to do, Dr. Muzaffar, is I plan to give everyone a 5 minutes break, because with online engagement, I think it's necessary kita ambil 5 minit, you know, bagi rehatkan mata daripada pancaran UV dengan all these radiations from the laptop, ya.
Boleh, Prof. Boleh.
Okay, dan saya mohon rakan-rakan semua, kita rakan aja ya, so first name basis. Saya Rahana, Muzaffar, dan saya kenal beberapa nama di kalangan kita di USIM, so please just call me Rahana, kita colleagues, ya. So saya berkongsi skrin, sekiranya ada masalah dengan perkongsian, mohon maklumkan pada saya. Okay, boleh lihat ya? Can see the screen, Dr. Muzaffar, can see? Okay. Alright,
yep,
sedikit pengenalan. I hope it's okay if I speak in English. Saya akan selit-selit sikit lah BM, tapi I hope you don't mind if I'm speaking in English.
Boleh, Prof. Boleh.
Boleh ya, Alhamdulillah. Okay, so my topic is FRGS proposal, ideas and strategies, because honestly, pengalaman saya menulis proposal dan cuba mendapat proposal ini diluluskan di tahap universiti, di tahap fakulti, di tahap universiti dan di tahap KPT sangat mencabar. So there isn't a one size fits all. There isn't a sure strategy. These are just ideas and strategies that I have accumulated since my first grant in 2008. 2010, I got my first FRGS. So, sedikit pengenalan, my grant ID. My grant ID saya 27253, sangat penting. When you are trying to get a FRGS proposal, as all of you must know, you need to have your migrants ID, and you need to have the migrants ID of those you want to put into your team. So, perkara pertama, daftar migrants ID, dapatkan ID dan pastikan ID itu aktif dan rakan-rakan lain pun ada ID untuk kita participate, collaborate dalam kajian. Yeah. So a little bit about my FRGS experience. Setakat ini saya telah berjaya, alhamdulillah telah berjaya sebanyak 5 kali. 2 kali sebagai lead researcher. Later I will show you some of the titles of my FRGS. Dan 3 kali sebagai co-researcher dan tidak berjaya sebanyak 3 kali. Now the reason saya letak successful dan unsuccessful, saya rasa ini sangat penting. Kita perlu we need to realize that we must try as many times as possible, but if you fail doesn't mean that your proposal is not good. What it means is apa yang berlaku ialah grant yang ada agak limited. We are competing with so many different proposals, right? And sometimes you will get and sometimes you won't get. So I want us to remember that itu perkara pertama, ya. Itu natijahnya berjaya tak berjaya itu lain cerita. Yang penting kita ada proposal, kita ada ideas, kita ada strategy. So you need to strategize your approach. So today's session, perkongsian saya ini berpandukan kejayaan dan kegagalan saya. So I'm sharing that. Dan juga saya alhamdulillah saya dipertanggungjawabkan sebagai penilai FRGS di tahap UKM sejak 2014. Dan di tahap UKM ini sangat kritikal sebab proposal yang tak lepas di tahap universiti tidak akan diajukan ke KPT. So kami tidak dibenarkan reject sebarang proposal kecuali proposal yang sangat-sangat teruk. Kami sebagai penilai diwajibkan, hampir wajib ya, diwajibkan memastikan setiap proposal itu lepas ke tahap KPT. Apa maksudnya? Evaluator kena beri banyak cadangan tambah baik kepada setiap proposal untuk pastikan proposal itu lepas satu markah yang kritikal, I think 80 or 85%, untuk pastikan bahawa proposal itu dapat terus ke KPT. Ada peluang untuk bertanding di tahap KPT. Ya, so ini satu tanggungjawab yang sangat kritikal. Jadi apa yang saya belajar daripada tanggungjawab saya sebagai penilai FRGS di tahap UKM ialah bagaimana nak apa-apa proposal yang kita terima sebagai penilai, kita baca, kita nak tambah baik. Macam mana kita nak tambah baik? Kita bukan team member dalam kajian tersebut. Tapi kita kena beri cadangan untuk pastikan proposal itu bertambah. Kualiti dia bertambah. Value added dia, ya. So daripada pengalaman ini juga saya dapati sedikit strategi dan sedikit ideas. So itu yang saya akan kongsi sesi kita pagi ini. Tapi sebelum itu, saya nak sedikit maklumat daripada rakan-rakan. Rakan-rakan di sini bukan tiada pengalaman buat kajian. Yeah, I'm sure you're very experienced. So I just want to know a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I told you a little bit about me. Saya perkenalkan diri saya sedikit tadi. Saya nak dengar daripada rakan-rakan. Saya mohon rakan-rakan ke www.menti.com dan guna kod yang tertera 2116790. Let me go to my
Assalamualaikum, boleh ulang kod?
yeah, sorry. Sekejap saya tengah share screen untuk okay, there you go. www.menti.com dan guna kod 2116790. Kalau ada masalah nak masuk, mohon maklumkan ya. Setakat ni belum ada sesiapa yang join. Okey, seorang. Thank you Dr. Kamimi. Ini Sifu ni. Okay, so Dr. Kamimi's area, bidang kajian beliau, Technology Enhanced Language Learning. Okay. Seterusnya, Dr. Rami Aida Darmi, Innovation, Language Teaching and Learning. Okay. Terima kasih. And then saya dapati ya, sometimes we're stumped at this stage when you are asked to introduce your research area, your research interest, sebab pelbagai minat pengajian sangat pelbagai, right? So how do you introduce yourself, especially on migrants? Kalau kawan-kawan lain nak collaborate dengan, macam kata nak collaborate dengan saya, nak collaborate dengan Dr. Muzaffar, dengan Dr. Kamimi, dengan Dr. Rami, mereka kena tahu bidang kajian kita dan juga minat kita. Publication kita satu, past research pun satu, tapi kita nak maklumkan kepada orang luar, inilah bidang kajian kita. This is our interest, our current research interest. Your PhD might be on something else. Then you've moved on, you've gone on to do something else, right? So sangat penting untuk kita kalau boleh to word it in a way, cara kita utarakan minat kajian kita itu membantu rakan-rakan lain dari universiti lain untuk kena pasti sama ada mereka nak collaborate dengan kita atau tidak. Yeah, so my suggestion is, as I approach it myself, my suggestion is whatever I'm interested in right now, I put that first. I might be interested in many things, yeah, but whatever I'm interested in right now or whatever I'm working on right now, itu yang saya utarakan. So maybe can I have two more, because there's more than 4 people just now. Ada masalah nak join menti ni ke? Okay, ada 6. Terima kasih. So I see a lot of teaching and learning of language, second language, foreign language seem to be the main focus. Yeah. So either using education. Oh, interesting. Islamic literature and creative writing, Dr. Yazid. Okay. Nice. Saya guna masa ni juga untuk memberi ruang dan peluang untuk rakan-rakan lain yang belum join sama. Saya tahu pukul 9 pagi ni agak susah ya. Nak start khusus pukul 9 tu agak susah. Tapi kita beri peluang rakan-rakan lain untuk join. I'm going to give a few more minutes. Is that okay, Dr. Muzaffar?
Boleh, Prof. Boleh.
Okay. Foreign language and teaching. Okay. It's 10. Literature and popular culture. Stories of former victims of domestic violence and children violence, about their hopes and, oh, nice. Lovely. I like that. Can I, yeah. Asminda, English language teaching, literacy, translation and culture. Okay. Rakan kita yang you know, the more detailed you make it, the easier people can understand what you're trying to do and see whether they want to collaborate with you or not. So it's a fine line, yeah. It's an art how you introduce yourself and your research interests. So we need to constantly improve, inshallah. Stylistics in Hadith Nabawi, mashallah. Oh, brilliant. Interesting. We have a stylistics expert in UKM FSSK. So I'm not sure whether Dr. Nur Farhana has collaborated with colleagues from UKM. Okay, so please continue to post. Just a second. Yeah? Okay, soalan kedua. Oh, I'm not sharing screen. Don't laugh at me. Okay, soalan kedua, soalan senang. Soalan cepu mas juga ni. What's your migrants ID?
I'm laughing because I do it all the time as well.
I know,
so.
right? I know, right? Pakai tekan je. Okay, what's your migrants ID? It's a very simple but very critical question. Kalau tak tahu di mana migrants ID tu dipaparkan, let me know. There's no silly question here, okay? Because I had to explore and find out myself yongs ago. So untuk cari migrants ID, first of all you need to log to migrants website, right? You need to log in and then go to your profile page. The top of your profile page, you have your migrants ID. Kalau dah upload gambar, you will see your picture there. Just in case. Okay, Dr. Kamimi. Oh, sorry. So, setakat ini ada 2 yang telah login. So, macam saya punya, ini migrants profile page. So, saya letak gambar saya. Username saya ialah Raihanah dan berikut adalah ID saya 27253. So, setakat ini ada 2 daripada rakan. 3, terima kasih. Dr. Hazlina tak ada migrant ID ke? So again, go to your migrants, migrants punya page tu, go to your name, click on your name and you will have all your details. Apa-apa kalau nak tambah publication ke, nak tambah project ke, your personal info, umur saya 52, tu dia, So your accounts, tapi ID tu the first thing ke atas tu. Okay, so setakat ini Dr. Rami, Dr. Kamimi ada migrants ID. So first thing to do, even before you write your proposal, is to know your migrants ID, so that senang nanti bila kita nak upload proposal FRGS, senang. Ya, kalau tak ada migrants ID, tak ada migrants ID rakan kajian kita, itu akan mengambil masa. It will delay your process. So please get your migrants ID secured. Again, I'm going to give you, saya beri peluang seminit 2 lagi. Kalau ada masalah tak tahu di mana, again like I said, pergi masuk migrants.gov.my, ya, pautan tu. Dan kalau belum login, pertama kali baru nak login, kena buat username dan sebagainya. Bila dah buat username, dah ada password, kita login, sistem akan generate ID untuk kita. Sistem yang akan generate ID. Dan profil ini diberi kepada kita agar kita dapat mewawarkan information kita, personal information kita, academic research information kita, agar rakan-rakan dari universiti luar boleh juga collaborate dengan kita. So setakat ini tak ramai yang kongsi migrants ID, so perhaps we can do that later.
Excuse me.
Ya, saya.
Rahana, may I know for the migrants ID, the publication part, is it automatically updated? Because I jarang check. I mean, where is it? I remember I did not update anything here. So tiba-tiba dah ada macam-macam. So where is it taken from?
Okay, kalau ada macam-macam, brilliant. Tapi pengalaman saya ialah kita yang kena upload sendiri.
Oh.
Dia bukan sistem macam di universiti kita bila kita upload macam di UKM, kami ada e-rap, repository, e-repository. So when you upload on eRap, it goes into your CV, it goes into your online system. Dengan migrant, saya rasa mungkin somebody else can elaborate for me. But pengalaman saya ialah saya yang kena upload sendiri.
Tertarik from Google Scholar ke, for example, if you update there, tertarik from that one also
Itu pihak KPT yang uruskan. So saya tak pasti Dr. Rami.
Okay.
I wish they did. It would be a lot easier kan? Macam kan Scopus and JCR and all the rest of it would be brilliant.
Kalau macam mine, the former research team yang masukkan. Maksudnya contohnya I have a mutual research with colleague A, then the colleague A will upload the publication and cite my name as the co-author. Macam tu. For my case lah, I'm not so sure about other academics.
Okay. Alright, so kita itu it's a very good question, and I think we need to find ways to upload so that again perkongsian sangat penting ya, perkongsian kita sangat penting. So setakat ini hanya beberapa yang masuk. So saya mohon juga rakan-rakan cuba dapatkan your migrants ID. Okay, now we're going to go straight into the proposal. Ini soalan saya. Mohon pilih daripada 4 ini, which of these sections in the proposal do you think is the most important? Yang mana yang paling penting? Selalunya yang paling penting kita akan beri masa dan dedikasi yang lebih ya. We tend to kind of dedicate our time and our effort more, especially when you think this is the most important thing, right? Or this is the most important section. What we think is the most important and what the evaluators think is the most important might not be the same. But it's important for us to understand that, first of all, ya. Maksudnya saya sebagai penulis proposal, saya akan letak emphasis kepada satu section ni. Dan penilai pula, dia ada markah-markah dia kan, skema dia kan, pemarkahan. Mungkin satu section tu 10 markah, lagi satu section tu 20 markah dan sebagainya. So penilai akan memberi tumpuan tertentu kepada sesuatu section. So kita kena cuba dapatkan satu sinergi antara apa yang kita rasa penting dalam proposal kita, maksudnya the heart of our proposal is this. And I want you, the reader, the examiner, to focus on this because this is what I think is important. But your evaluator might have a different priority based on their marking scheme. So we need to realize this as well. So this question is just a kind of a needs analysis for my benefit so that I know out of 9 people right now, 10 people, no one thinks literature review is important. Okay, but the irony is it carries 20% of your proposal. It carries 20%. Cuba kita tak letak emphasis kat literature review. Kita letaklah apa-apa. 20 markah tau. Literature review tu 20 markah. So maksudnya macam kata saya menilai Dr. Muzaffar punya proposal Dr. Muzaffar cantik, executive summary, title, methodology, brilliant. Literature review macam nak tak nak je. 20 markah. Tak dapat 20 markah atau tak dapat markah yang tinggi daripada 20 tu, proposal tu tidak akan lepas. So penting. Jadi kita kena ambil maklum. Executive summary for sure. Title for sure. Methodology for sure. But literature review sangat penting. Sebab ia menunjukkan scholarship yang telah kita ambil kira untuk mengenal pasti lompong dalam kajian kita. Yeah? So this again indicate emphasis that we give to our proposal. Macam pelajar PhD kita sama. Kalau literature review dia tak kuat, ya, tak komprehensif, dia tak dapat kenal pasti lompong dalam kajian dia. Macam mana dia nak kenal pasti topik untuk research dia? Ya. So I just want to draw your attention to this. Sangat penting saya rasa. Ya. So thank you to the 13 people who participated. Okay, oh sorry. So kita mulakan sesi perkongsian kita, insyaAllah. So saya ingin memberi sedikit perkongsian and then we will take a 5 minutes break and then we will resume with some strategies. Okay? So pertama kali kita kena fahami apa keperluan FRGS. Understanding its requirements should be our first order of business, right? It's not so much, this is my interest, this is what I want to work on, and that's the end of it. That's how I used to approach at the beginning. And then banyak dapat rejection, you know? So we need to understand its requirements. First of all, as with any research, with fundamental research, the requirement is we need to set out to generate something new. Either new theory yang baru, dapatan yang baru, konsep yang baru, idea atau ilmu yang baru yang dapat membantu menangani atau to solve certain fundamental issues. Ini agak abstract, tapi kalau kita compare, bandingkan dengan applied research, ya, perbezaan antara fundamental dan applied research lebih kepada follow up research to fundamental studies. It tends to apply findings of a fundamental research to a new context. So lain daripada FRGS. Ya. So apa fokus FRGS? Saya reiterate, to investigate practices that are focused on discovering or formulating fundamental principles of human behavior. Sebab kita dari bidang humanities, social science, arts, so our focus tends to be more on the principles of human behavior, either through literature, macam saya, atau through language, right? Linguistics and language, right? So we need to kind of understand that and we want to investigate that. So the kind of questions tends to be more focused on whys and hows of human behavior. Okay, and does not typically result in a product or a technology, but it tends to be rooted in development of a new theory, new concept, new ideas. And it tends to help improve our understanding of the world. Data-data ini, dapatan ini, perkongsian pagi ini, saya dapat saya rumuskan daripada slide-slides yang kami terima over the last few years daripada profesor-profesor yang berkongsi pengalaman menilai dan juga menulis grant FRGS. So I summarized and I synthesized based on all the things that I have gotten from others. The second half of my session nanti, sesi saya selepas break nanti adalah lebih kepada ilmu yang saya dapat sebagai penulis grant FRGS dan penilai grant FRGS. Yeah, so the first half is things that I got from other professors and lecturers and researchers. Okay. Kalau ada soalan, just please leave it in the chat. You know, some ideas might come up. Please just leave it in the chat and we'll come back to that. So again, we need to understand the FRGS requirements. So what are the requirements of FRGS? It has to be a fundamental research, not an applied research. So we understand that. We've got an area that we're interested in. Now, how do we translate that into a proposal? Macam pelajar PhD kita atau calon PhD, dia nak buat PhD dengan kita, dia beri kita sedikit gambaran apa yang dia minat. Kemudian kita minta dia, okay, now write a concept paper. Belum proposal lagi kan? Just write me a concept paper. Dalam concept paper tu mungkin kita kena pasti apa perkara-perkara yang penting yang kita nak dia jelaskan. The same thing with us, with FRGS. So the measures of a quality proposal, you have identified it yourself dalam Mentimeter punya soalan tadi tu. You need to have an informative title. The title is very important. You also need to have a well-summarized executive summary. Ini sangat-sangat penting. Pengalaman saya, bila saya menulis FRGS proposals, this is the most challenging part, executive summary. Sebab dia beri 30 perkataan, 300 patah perkataan, 300 words. But you need to capture the entire research in that 300 words. It's not easy, kan? Bukan senang, kan? Dan another measure of a quality proposal, permasalahan, a problem statement needs to be clear and concise. You know, a lot of times when we read people's proposal, students, for instance, we can't identify the problem that they want to explore, right? So we need to develop that as well in our proposal. Another measure of a quality proposal that I had to learn, you know, every time I submitted a proposal, evaluator selalu akan beri komen, research question, research objective, not SMART. You know, measurable, you know, how the research objectives and the research questions are worded. I'll talk about that later, insyaAllah. What do I mean by SMART? Kalau rakan-rakan tak tahu. Bukan SMART as in intelligent, it's an acronym. A quality proposal, measure of a quality proposal and seterusnya ialah comprehensive literature review. Sangat-sangat critical. Yeah. You don't need to make your literature review long, but you need to show that you have done at least, you know, 10 to 15 references, both the current and the critical references. Sometimes the critical references may be from the 20th century, kan? Mungkin scholars, setengah-setengah scholars yang kita quote, dia daripada abad ke-20, bukan 21. So nampak macam, oh 22 tahun ni lama dah kan? Tapi kita kena juga tunjuk citations daripada, you know, the last 5 years. So that is important as well. And of course, finally, a measure of a quality proposal. All of us know this, right? It has to be scientific and structured in terms of its methodology. Right? Even though we're from the social sciences and arts and humanities, methodology kita lebih kena berbentuk scientific dan structured. Okay. Now we have to understand the evaluation. Okay, kita dah tahu quality of a proposal, what goes into a good proposal. Now dari kacamata penilai pula. Sebagai penilai, apa yang penilai perlu menilai dalam proposal FRGS kita. So kita sebagai penulis proposal kena maklum bahawa apa yang kita bentangkan ini, penilai akan guna kacamata mereka, they will use their own lens to score our proposal. No, nothing personal. If they gave you a low score in one of the sections, it's not because they don't like you or whatever, but because it doesn't meet the criteria. So we need to understand what is the criteria. Yeah. Okay, ni ada typo, saya copy paste daripada perkongsian rakan-rakan sebelum ni. So there's a couple of typos there. So please excuse that. Tapi ni gambaran dia. Yeah, just have a quick look. Daripada 100 markah, tajuk hanya diberi 5 markah. Yeah. Executive summary 20, methodology 20, literature review 20. So the heart of your research is here in terms of scoring. Yeah. Executive summary, methodology, literature review. That's 60%. Yeah. Tajuk hanya 5 markah, tapi tajuk sangat penting. Sebab tajuk akan memberi gambaran kepada penilai sama ada kajian kita ini berbentuk fundamental atau tidak. Yeah, so we will break it down one at a time. So tajuk. Again, slide sini saya dapat daripada rakan-rakan pensyarah yang lain yang telah berkongsi di tahap UKM. In terms of title, first of all, it has to indicate the type of study. Seperti saya kata, apa ni? The reflection of fundamentalness of your research needs to appear. I will show you later some of my titles, the research FRGS research grants that I have been successful with, and I will show you the title. So you can get an indication what I mean by this. And it addresses a main problem. Dalam tajuk tadi tu, masalah tu jelas. It's concise, it's short, and it's descriptive. and it helps evaluator understand the focus of the research. Use the correct terms. And it should also relate to non-specialist. Mungkin yang menilai proposal kita bukan dari bidang yang sama, tapi dari gugusan sastra dan sains sosial, yeah, which is huge, right? Tapi even non-specialist dapat faham apa isu yang dikupas sebab tajuk tu, cara penulisannya dan choice of words is not too specialist specific. Okay. Make it short. Don't make it too long. Bukan write a paragraph kan? So make it short. And the topic must indicate that you are able to achieve this maybe in 2 years, maybe in 3 years. Sebab kalau too ambitious, it looks like it's a long-term project, most probably will not be approved. Okay. Seterusnya, executive summary. Seperti yang saya sebut, executive summary hanya 300 patah perkataan. Dan dalam 300 patah perkataan tu, kita kena selitkan problem statement, objective, methodology, deliverables, research impact. 5 ni. So kalau ingatkan 5 divide by 300, setiap satu tu dalam lingkungan 45 patah perkataan lebih kurang. And then maybe some extras you can add somewhere. Okay? So kita kupas. Problem statement, you have to make your problem statement concise, you know, and it describes the issue to be addressed. Objective, SMART. Apa yang kita maksudkan dengan SMART tadi tu? SMART is an acronym. It's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and within time frame. This is where I always get comments from my evaluator. My objectives are not SMART because I tend to, my first draft, the objective tends to be a little bit more abstract. So when I have to make it specific, I have to put in things like numbers to within, you know, a particular measurable time. How is it achieved? You know, what do I need to achieve it? What do I need to do to achieve it? So I need to incorporate all that into the objectives. Methodology. Again, this is something I got lots of feedback from the evaluators. The methodology needs to be precise, detailed, sampai the number of participants, sample size. Walaupun kita tak buat lagi kajian ni, tapi proposal tu kena tunjuk sebagai satu proposal yang sekiranya diberi grant tu diberi, you can carry it out immediately. It's almost like that. So you need to make your proposal as comprehensive as possible. Dan methodology tadi tu kena berkait dengan research objective yang SMART tadi tu. Okay? Dan research questions. Deliverables. What are you going to deliver in carrying out this research? It has to be clear. It has to be achievable. Don't be too ambitious and don't promise too much. This is something my friends from UKM who are also evaluators at KPT level, grant evaluators, FRGS grant, selalu sebut, jangan beria sangat, jangan promise too much, you know, but within the budget requirements, promise what is expected of you. And then the research impact. Macro level research impact to the nation, to the industry, the academia and government. I want to come back to this later, insyaAllah. Saya rasa ini satu topik yang sangat penting yang perlu kita fahami. Soalan yang saya tanya dalam menti tadi tu, your research interest. Sekarang ni kalau kita lihat research impact, kita kena cuba kaitkan research interest kita dengan keperluan negara, keperluan industri, keperluan akademia dan juga keperluan kerajaan. Right, so that is the macro level. So our research interest is more at the micro level, and how do we connect this micro level interest to the macro expectations and requirements? So we'll explore that. Okay, statement of problem. again, like I said, this is not something, because all of you have PhDs, so that means you must have at least done a PhD research, which means you know all these things. Tapi honest to goodness, I also realize sometimes when I'm writing a statement of problem, it's an art. You have to continuously practice what you are taught. You might know it, but you still need to practice it when you come to writing your own proposal, right? So setiap kali menulis proposal, the path to identify the research gap comes from understanding a comprehensive literature review. Sebab tu saya kata tadi, literature review sangat penting. Ya, kajian review of literature in your area sangat-sangat penting. Sebab kalau kita nak kena pasti gap tadi tu, sekiranya kita tiada literature review yang komprehensif, sukar untuk kita mengenal pasti permasalahan yang kita ingin kaji. Right? So I think this is super important. Research objective yang sebut SMART tadi tu. Salah satu perkara yang penilai atau evaluators akan lihat nanti ialah bagaimana research objektif kita berkait dengan research questions. Ini satu perkara yang agak simple tapi kadang-kadang kita lepas pandang. Ia mesti berkait rapat. Apa yang kita kena pasti sebagai objektif, kita kena olah semula sebagai soalan kajian. Ya? Itu perkara pertama. I'm sure all of you know this. But it doesn't hurt being reminded. This is my own experience. Setiap kali saya ingin menulis proposal untuk I don't know Sumitomo or university level grants or KPT level grants or whatever, I will make time to attend such workshops like today. Bukan sebab ilmu tak ada, tapi kadang-kadang refresher tu sangat-sangat penting. Just to remind us as you're looking through your draft of your proposal, tengok nota-nota ni kata, kan research objective dengan research question macam nombor 4 ni macam lain sikit. Macam tu lah. Yeah. So I think it's important for us to be reminded and make sure it's more fundamental rather than applied. Research methodology. Again, I'm talking to scholars, researchers, so you know your studies, the things that you want to do. Tapi keep in mind these 4 aspects: your research design, the sample population, the instrument that you're using, and the data analysis. How will you conduct the data analysis? Kenapa? Bukan sebab yang menulis grant tu tak tahu kajian mereka, tetapi kita ingin we are trying to pitch our proposal to somebody who might not know our area well enough, right? So we need to present it in a way that anybody reading the proposal can get an idea. Oh, macam ni, this is what they will do. This is how they will get the data in order to answer the research questions. So sangat penting kita jelaskan research methodology dan juga beri flow chart atau Gantt chart. Ya, kalau boleh buat dua-dua sekali lah. Ya, sangat-sangat penting. So tadi kita sebut mengenai research impact. The macro level impact of your micro level research. So salah satu daripada cara untuk kita kena pasti research impact tadi tu ialah dengan memahami research clusters, research domain yang telah kena pasti oleh pihak KPT. So these are slides from previous institutions. So KPM, so please excuse the acronym. Tapi kita kena kenal pasti national priority area. So dapat your research interest tadi tu, where can you park your research interest? Is it in social economic well-being? Is it in education and knowledgeable civil society? Itu under research cluster lah. Under national priority areas, Is it under biodiversity? Is it under environment and climate change? Where can you park this? Or for research domains pula, where can you park your current interest? So, you know, always remember that where you park your research in terms of research domain, the evaluators will come from that domain. Katakan kita park our research dekat information dan communication technology. So your evaluators are experts in that field, right? So be mindful that they will know what they're looking for because they are experts in that field, so they will look for certain things. Likewise, if you put it under natural and cultural heritage, your evaluators are experts in that area, they will look for certain things. Yeah, so be mindful. Also to be mindful of for macro research impact is the social economic drivers, right? So these are the social economic drivers, ya, pemacu sosioekonomi. So kita kena pasti dan cuba kaitkan interest tadi, ya, minat kajian kita tadi tu dengan pemacu, salah satu daripada pemacu ini. Kenapa? Ini menunjukkan bahawa kajian kita itu ada impak di tahap makro, di tahap nation and maybe even global. Yeah, so just be reminded, and this is something I'm sure you are familiar with, wawasan kemakmuran bersama 2030, right? So daripada 15 aktiviti pertumbuhan ekonomi utama atau key economic growth activities, where would you park your research? So again, semua slide-slide ini perkara yang kita kena pasti, kita dah tahu, kita maklum. Sekarang ni apa yang kita minat, kajian yang kita minat sekarang tadi, seperti ada rakan sebut mengenai violence, domestic violence dan sebagainya, kat mana kita nak park interest kita tadi tu. Ya, kalau kita lihat key economic growth activity sekarang ni, yang mana yang hampir berkait dengan minat kita. Ya, so kita kena jelas nanti, ya. Another one which again, you know, I'm sure you are familiar with is the sustainable development goals, right? So you must be able to identify which of these goals best suit your current research interests. So I'm going through this very fast because I know you're familiar with this. This is, yeah. So before we take a break, I want us to focus on this. So salah satu daripada nasihat saya kepada diri saya bila saya nak submit a research proposal ialah untuk kita memahami semua dapatan atau semua garis panduan atau dokumen yang dikongsi oleh yang memberi grant kepada kita. Macam di sini JPT, ya, yang memberi grant. Jadi kita kena pelajari apa keperluan JPT berdasarkan garis panduan yang mereka telah siapkan. Dan kalau boleh garis panduan pindaan yang terkini. Mungkin tahun depan ada pindaan lain, tapi pindaan tu macam sikit je, bukanlah major revision kan. So saya ingin kita go through ini dokumen ini sebelum I give you a short break. So saya tak pasti Dr. Muzaffar, mereka rakan-rakan semua ada ya garis panduan ni, mestilah ada kan?
We're aware of it, but kita tak download lagi.
Okay.
Also, we have a couple of questions if you want to address them in the chat,
sure.
Or ke selepas break, up to you.
Okay, I'll pick it up after the break. I think these are brilliant questions, Dr. Rami. Thank you. Because I want to give you a break, but I want to give you a break after going through this. So, okay. So saya boleh kongsi, kejap lagi saya boleh kongsi dokumen ni kalau rakan-rakan tak ada. Tapi actually senang, just Google je. Garis panduan skim Geran penyelidikan fundamental pindaan 2022 and it's all there. So just give me 5 minutes before we take a 5 minutes break. So just to go through this. Sekejap ya, saya besarkan sikit. Alright. Okay. So first thing to realize, I know this looks nice on paper, vision, mission. Sometimes we just skip that, right? Tapi saya rasa sangat-sangat penting. Okay. Visi grant ini ialah penyelidikan fundamental yang berdaya saing untuk transformasi ilmu dan kecemerlangan negara. So my notes is that we need to internalize this vision. You need to ask yourself, menghayati bagaimana visi ini dapat saya realisasikan melalui kajian yang saya minat. How can I translate this vision in my area, in the thing that I want to do? How can I translate this? So sangat penting. Ini nasihat saya kepada diri saya. Sangat penting untuk memahami bahawa apa yang KPT inginkan ialah grants holders yang menerima grant ini, kajian mereka berdaya saing untuk transformasi ilmu dan kecemerlangan negara. So you ask yourself, how does my interest, my research, transforms knowledge? What knowledge is it transforming? How does it help the nation reach excellence? So you ask yourself those fundamental questions and you will be able to come up with a proposal that is stronger. Okay? Visi pula. Membudaya, memperkasa dan melestarikan kapasiti penyelidikan berimpak tinggi. Okay, what did I say about this? But let me do this first. So again, ask yourself the same question. Internalize the expected outputs here. The expected output ialah membudayakan, memperkasakan, melestarikan kapasiti penyelidikan berimpak tinggi. How do you make high impact research a culture? How do you empower others, right? Melalui penjanaan ilmu, melalui perkembangan bakat, melalui peningkatan tahap intelek, melalui penyuburan peradaban yang dinamik. What I mean by this is the mission actually spells out the expected outputs. Okay, one of the expected outputs is that we don't just focus on us and our research, but we empower the next generation of scholars. And that's why GRA is an important prerequisite, right? So I will identify later my strategy of my latest FRGS grant, alhamdulillah. How I got that was melalui perkembangan bakat. Saya fokuskan lebih kepada perkembangan bakat. So my focus was I developed a proposal based on a PhD student, my PhD student's topic, and I expanded it to a macro level. So itu strategi saya. Tapi kita dapat hayati dari misi. So the understanding the mission is super important. What is the mission of this grant? Another thing that we need to also understand is bila kita diperlukan membudaya dan memperkasa dan melestarikan kapasiti penyelidikan berimpak tinggi, what is a high impact research capacity in terms of our area of interest? What is it? What do we understand that to be? And what are the concrete manifestations of high impact research capacity for our research? Kita tak boleh compare dengan sciences, dengan teknologi. Tapi how do we manifest that in our research? Ya, sebab ada kawan tadi foreign language or looking at specific second language acquisitions. How do you manifest that as a high impact research? Right? So kita kena fikirkan sama-sama. Seterusnya, okay, the definition of fundamental, ya. Penyelidikan fundamental merupakan penyelidikan asas yang boleh menghasilkan teori, konsep, idea baru beracuan Malaysia demi perkembangan ilmu. So at the heart of it is knowledge expansion, right? So if you think about it, this is similar to a doctoral research. when you meet a candidate for the first time, a PhD candidate for a first time, even before they submit an application, when you inquire what they are interested in, these are the things that you're looking for, right? How this topic adds to the body of knowledge in that area. So similarly, when we are coming up with a FRGS proposal, we need to think about how what we are interested in, what we're trying to do, how does it contribute to the body of knowledge in your area? Yeah, so think about that as well as you're preparing your proposal. Seterusnya, tujuan. Apa tujuan kajian ini? Penyelidikan ini bertujuan untuk melonjakkan penjanaan teori, konsep dan idea baru beracuan Malaysia. I think this is super important. We cannot forget that what we're trying to do is based on Malaysian perspective, based on how things are done within the Malaysian scope. Ya, yang menjadi pemangkin kepada penemuan baru yang menerobos sempadan ilmu penciptaan inovatif. So I think we need to consider this statement as we prepare the implication of your proposal. Dalam executive summary, ada section dalam proposal yang kita kena tekankan aspek ini. Penemuan baru. Apa penemuan baru yang tidak terlampau hyperbolic, like, you know, you're going to solve all the world's problems, obviously not, tapi tidak terlampau micro, right? It just meets the balance between a micro focus and a macro expectation. So penemuan baru ni sangat-sangat penting juga. Sikit je lagi. Okay. So seperti yang saya sebut tadi tu, apa yang kita minat adalah di tahap mikro. Nah, sekarang kita kena cuba olahkan minat kita tadi tu, yang di tahap mikro tadi tu. Ini ya. Okay. Seperti apa yang rakan-rakan sebut tadi tu, technology enhanced language learning, foreign language education and acquisition, Islamic literature and creative writing. So semua-semua ni kita kena cuba kaitkan dengan bidang keutamaan penyelidikan yang dikenapasti oleh pihak KPT. Ya. So perlu ambil maklum juga bahawa geran kita tadi, permohonan kita kan akan dinilai berdasarkan domain penyelidikan. So kalau kita tak dapat kaitkan penyelidikan kita, proposal kita, interest kita, minat kita tadi tu dengan domain penyelidikan yang telah dikenal pasti, ada beberapa domain ya, research domain, research cluster, my STIE, SPV 2030, SDG, itu je. Semua-semua ni kita kena cuba kaitkan semua-semua ni, ya. Kalau kita tak dapat kaitkan, penilaian itu akan not very impressive lah. You know, our evaluation by the evaluators will not be terribly impressive. Markah kita agak rendah nanti. So ini sangat penting ya. So my strong recommendation to myself and to all of us is to park our research in the right suitable domain, which will be evaluated by the experts in that domain. So pastikan domain yang kita kenal pasti daripada 7 ini, sama ada sastra dan sastra iktisas atau sains sosial atau warisan alam dan budaya atau teknologi maklumat dan komunikasi atau sebarangnya. It's the right domain, and similarly with the research clusters, ya, apa yang saya kongsi dalam slide tadi tu. Similarly with rangka kerja 10-10, Sains, Teknologi, Inovasi, Ekonomik Malaysia. Similarly with Wawasan Kemakmuran Bersama 2030 dan Sustainable Development Goals. Right, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, that's it for now. I want to give all of us a 5 minutes break. As you think about it, as you're taking your you know, is it okay 5 minutes break, Dr. Muzaffar?
Boleh, boleh.
Boleh
So,
nak?
siapa nak pergi restroom break, this is the
Kalau nak buat
time.
coffee
Yeah.
ke, kalau nak buat tea ke, you know. So please take a 5 minutes break. But as you're taking your 5 minutes break, if you've got questions, when you come back, please post it. I have another maybe 20 minutes sharing, 15, 20 minutes sharing, and then we can open it for Q&A. Then we'll cover all those questions. And I will try my best to answer them. So it's 10:06. Kita rehat, kita join balik pukul 10:15 lah. Boleh nak?
Boleh, boleh.
Assalamualaikum. Sambil-sambil kita balik ke sesi, mohon kalau rakan-rakan boleh masukkan juga dalam menti.com guna kod yang sama 21167990. Mohon kongsi bersama apa isu yang rakan-rakan sendiri sedang hadapi dalam menulis proposal FRGS. What is your main concern with writing the FRGS proposal? Just put down your main concern. Is it the statement of problem? Is it the executive summary? Is it the methodology? Is it the title? Yeah, so sambil everybody else join back, kita beri masa sikit. Saya mohon rakan-rakan isikan di menti.com. Terima kasih. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting your thoughts down. So antara isu yang rakan-rakan sedang hadapi atau menghadapi dalam menulis proposal FRGS termasuk the depth and breadth of, something is missing, tajuk, methodology, policy streamlining, executive summary, pembinaan tajuk proposal. Okay, saya sambung . So seperti yang saya sebut tadi, alhamdulillah saya berjaya beberapa kali dan gagal. Alhamdulillah juga gagal beberapa kali. Dari kegagalan tu dan dari kejayaan tu kita berilmu lah kan. So hindsight is always 2020. Bila kita pandang belakang apa yang telah kita lalui, tiba-tiba jelas penglihatan kita. Tapi bila kita ke arah ke depan tu taklah jelas sangat kan, ya. So hindsight is always 2020. When you reflect on your life, you are able to see so much more clearly than when you are moving forward. So based on my alhamdulillah experience of submitting FRGS grants, sama ada berjaya atau gagal, these are some of my strategies that I would like to share with you. So these ideas are mine. Again, these are based on my personal experience. Mungkin rakan-rakan lain yang berjaya mempunyai pengalaman yang lain. So again, this is a personal narrative. Take what you want from it, and the rest you can just leave behind. Yeah. So strategi pertama. So alhamdulillah FRGS yang saya dapat selepas berjaya selepas balik daripada PhD adalah FRGS yang pertama 2008. Topik FRGS ini iaitu developing a procedural tool in reading the Muslim diaspora adalah lain daripada topik PhD saya. PhD saya adalah on multiculturalism in Malaysian fiction. So lain, topik lain, Malaysian, the region lain, the focus is different. Tapi selepas buat kajian PhD beberapa tahun, it's time to let that go and move on. That's how I felt in 2008 after my PhD. So my first strategy, and I wasn't thinking about it in 2008, masa buat proposal ni tak fikir macam tu. Tapi sekarang bila kita reflect balik, baru saya faham apa yang saya buat ialah saya mengenal pasti minat pada masa tersebut. So I was identifying that the current interest, my current interest at that time, selepas buat research PhD, ya. So alhamdulillah kali pertama submit grant FRGS dan terus dapat, itu rezeki lah kan, ya. Tapi lepas tu banyak kali gagal lah kan, biasa juga kan. So ini tajuk saya. So tadi rakan-rakan sebut tajuk menjadi satu isu, ya. It's one of your main concern. So this title had gone through so many revisions. Ya, tajuk 5 markah je, tapi tajuk tu banyak kali saya edit to make it concise, to make it fundamental, to make it understandable without using any technical terms. So I was developing a procedural tool, so it's something new. Perkongsian ilmu baru, you add to the body of knowledge. And my focus is on the Muslim diaspora, right? In the reading of Muslim diaspora. So mungkin kali ini kalau saya hantar topik ini tahun 2022, 2023, mungkin tajuk ini bukan lagi fundamental sebab, bukan mungkin, tapi sudah semestinya bukan lagi fundamental sebab selepas lebih 15 tahun, hampir 20 tahun, topik ini bukan lagi current, right? Tapi pada 2008, bila saya balik daripada PhD, saya dapati bahawa penulisan sastra Muslim oleh penulis-penulis diaspora mula meningkat, khasnya selepas 9/11. Banyak penulisan daripada karyawan antarabangsa dari Canada, dari Amerika, Britain, Australia dan sebagainya yang belum dikaji. So the current interest was my current interest and I tapped into that. Dan alhamdulillah ya, strategi ini bila kita berminat dan minat itu it's something that is shared. Salah satu daripada kebaikannya ialah ramai pelajar-pelajar berminat untuk mengkaji topik ini. You know, it was so easy for me to get PhD students, Malaysians and non-Malaysians, to get master students to conduct research in this area. Jadi bila kita sebut human capital tadi tu, tak jadi isu. Kalau kita ingat balik, kalau kita fokus balik, salah satu daripada fokus utama garis panduan skim Geran penyelidikan fundamental, misinya ialah untuk meningkatkan human capital dalam bidang tertentu, percambahan ilmu dan sebagainya. So this was the benefit. Ya, so kadang-kadang strategi yang kita ambil mungkin instinctual. Saya cakap betul-betul masa saya pilih topik ini atau interest ini, tiada siapa di universiti, di UKM, di fakulti berminat dengan topik ini. Sebab topik baru kan, mereka tak buat kajian dalam bidang ini, tapi saya minat. Dan alhamdulillah, when you have the instinct, go for it. You might be successful, you might fail, it's okay. But if you're interested in something, go for it. There was another time when I was interested in something else on the study of masculinity in literature. Nobody wanted it and nobody was interested and my proposal was rejected. Tapi sekarang menjadi isu semula. So, you know, sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't, but that's okay. Like I said, hindsight is 2020 kan. So, dan alhamdulillah juga, ini laporan saja ya, laporan progres. Daripada progres ini, alhamdulillah kami mendapat beberapa index journals and beberapa international conference. So, inilah kebaikannya strategi ini. bila kita minat sesuatu dan minat itu it meets a demand. There is demand in the market. There is demand amongst our students. They are interested in this area that you introduced or that you brought together, right? You are not an expert in the area yet. You are exploring the topic, then suddenly students want to work with you because of this interest. So this is an important strategy, I think. Yeah. Strategi kedua ialah untuk to mobilize whatever the current area of research specialization. Di fakulti kami, di Jabatan Sastra atau di program sastra, salah satu daripada kekuatan kami sejak end of 20th century, early 21st century ialah Malaysian literature in English. Even when I went off to do my PhD in Malaysian literature, this is something we've always been interested in. We had Arwah Prof. Zawiyah Yahya, a post-colonial scholar, and Malaysian literature in English was always something that she focused on as our strength. UKM literature department as our strength. So menggunakan strategi bidang kepakaran department, kami mengeluarkan satu lagi proposal atau we submitted another FRGS proposal. Alhamdulillah 2010 berjaya. Yeah, and this was a research that I was a member of, but a very active member along with my two other researchers. The topic was narrating the nation in Malaysian literature in English, exploring issues of nation building. Today, I will say, if you use words like exploring, it will be rejected. Tajuk ni akan di-reject. Tapi alhamdulillah masa tu, Malaysian literature in English belum lagi dikaji dengan begitu teliti, right? Khasnya dalam isu negara bangsa, nation building. Right, so the idea of how the nation is narrated in this corpus, it's something that was not canonized as a research. So hence, we were blessed lah. I mean, short answer is you never know which one we'll get. But like I said, hindsight is 2020, and because of mobilization of research interest, we were so fortunate that we had so much output. We had papers, international papers, national papers. We had book chapters, proceedings. We had PhD students, master students, undergraduate students producing work in this area. Jadi, disebabkan kepakaran, setiap daripada team members tadi tu dapat menjadi supervisor kepada pelajar sarjana, pelajar undergraduate, pelajar PhD. Dan setiap daripada kami juga, sebabkan bidang kepakaran kami juga Malaysian literature in English, hampir, ya, sama ada gender, sama ada minority fiction, sama pelbagai lah, ya. Kami dapat, we could produce so much outputs. So again, this is one strategy. So look around, not just what you are interested in, look around, find a team that you can be active from the very get-go. That means tak payah tunggu grant diberi baru kita nak menjadi aktif. So you can start being active. So this is the second strategy. Ini strategi kedua, iaitu pakai kepakaran yang sedia ada. Ya, so strategi pertama tadi tu pakai minat yang baru yang mungkin belum lagi dikaji. Ya, dan sebabkan minat baru, kira barulah, unik lah kan topik tu. Tapi strategi kedua pakai kepakaran yang sedia ada, tapi kepakaran sedia ada beberapa ahli kumpulan, bukan seorang sahaja. Strategi yang ketiga, pada tahun 2014, alhamdulillah saya juga team member dalam kajian ini, ialah untuk pakai strategi intersectional focus, bukan fokus sastra sahaja, tapi fokus sastra dengan psychogeography. Ya, so bila saya tanya rakan-rakan tadi mengenai bidang minat kajian atau your research interest, you've identified your research interest. untuk strategi ketiga, sekiranya rakan-rakan nak guna pakai strategi ketiga ini, tanya diri masing-masing, what is another area that can intersect? Apa bidang yang lain yang boleh bersilang dengan bidang kita? So identify that, right? So maksudnya fokus kita ialah Malaysian literature. Itu memang seperti yang saya sebut, memang specialization di department kita, katakan ya. So kita nak kaitkan sastra Malaysia tadi tu dengan bidang yang lain, psychogeography katakan, right? So this is one strategy, and alhamdulillah we were successful again in 2014, and it has produced a few works. Strategi keempat ialah again, you know, saya rasa saya sangat bertuahkan dapat bekerja dengan pelbagai rakan-rakan dari pelbagai universiti, dan tahun yang seterusnya saya collaborate dengan Prof Nuraihan dari IIUM dan rakan-rakan dari UiTM juga untuk fokus kepada kajian yang agak current. Ya, you tap into a current national level issue, bukan isu apa yang kita minat, tapi apa yang menjadi topik hangat pada masa tertentu. Dan pada 2015, seperti yang kita tahu, pada zaman tu atau pada masa tu, kebat adalah satu yang sentiasa diutarakan, dan khasnya dalam konteks pengajian bahasa dan pengajian sastra. Right? So this was the topic. The integration of higher order thinking skills in language teaching, development of an online course for English language teachers. So again, MOOC, online course, this was huge, right? If you remember. Not that, bukanlah kata sekarang ni online course tak penting, tapi masa tu adalah sesuatu yang sangat hangat. So if you want a metaphor, if you're riding a wave, if you're a surfer, if you're riding a wave, the wave is coming up, and you catch the wave at the right time, you know. So alhamdulillah we managed to do that. So this was the fourth strategy, looking at current issue. Sikit je lagi. Strategi kelima seperti yang saya sebut, this was my latest FRGS. Dalam semester pertama pelajar PhD saya, you know, we were working around a topic. This was not the topic she came into UKM with. She came into UKM with a different topic, but based on my discussion with her, we kind of changed our focus a little bit. She is looking on into transmedia storytelling in popular culture, right? Tapi based on that topic, I started to explore the interest. I started to read up and came up with this area. And this is the topic that I came up with. A framework of collaborative authorship in transmedia story world for social activism. Now, alhamdulillah, the topic was successful last year, 2021. Okay, so strategi kelima ni mungkin saya boleh cadangkan sebab saya rasa ini adalah sesuatu yang bottom up. Selalunya bila kita appoint GRA, it tends to be top down. Kita dah ada grant, ya, daripada grant tadi tu kita kena pasti GRA, dan GRA tu PhD beliau akan berfokus, maybe take one angle from our FRGS. Tapi strategi yang kelima ni bottom up. Pelajar PhD kita supervise, main supervisor, mengenal pasti satu topik yang kita collaborate dengan dia lah, kita guide kan. Dan daripada topik tu kita expand topik tadi tu, kita besarkan atau luaskan topik tadi tu menjadi satu topik yang ada impak atau implikasi di tahap yang lebih luas. Sebab you know, PhD you cannot make it too ambitious kan. So alhamdulillah this was successful. And again, I use my instinct with this, because when I saw her proposal, my instinct said develop this. Saya selalu guna my instinct when I'm doing certain things, you know, I'm very instinctual. So when I looked at the topic, I started to just explore it read more extensive than she did and came up with a gap and identified an industry partner. And alhamdulillah, you know, last July, we were successful in our first data sharing. Dr. Muzaffar is also an active member in this particular grant. So yeah. So ini strategi kelima. Okay, so itu strategi kenal pasti bidang atau kenal pasti topik. My second and last sharing session ialah strategy to prepare a good proposal. Macam mana nak mengenal pasti areas in your proposal yang mana kita kena improve atau strengthen. Pada awal sesi tadi saya tanya kepada rakan-rakan apa bidang atau what is the area in a research or in a proposal that is most important to you, right? If you remember. Saya kongsi balik screen, sorry. If you remember daripada needs analysis yang kita lakukan tadi tu, daripada 15, 6 berkata bahawa title is the most important section in your proposal, followed by methodology is the most important, followed by executive summary and literature review. Based on my sharing this past hour, now you know that literature review is also important. It carries 20%. Methodology carries 20%. Executive summary carries 20%. So that's 60%. Title carries a short amount of your overall, tapi sangat-sangat penting. So untuk untuk sesi yang seterusnya ini, saya ingin mengenal pasti sedikit strategi yang kita boleh guna pakai sama-sama, ya. We can use in our proposal building. Always remember these are just ideas. Again, hindsight is always 2020. I sound very intelligent even to myself now, but when I'm doing the proposal, you know, I'm like, oh my God, you know, struggling, right? So dapatan yang saya kongsikan ini adalah berdasarkan pengalaman yang saya timba, alhamdulillah, ya. So yang strategi pertama, this is what I did last year when I was submitting an FRGS for 2021. I started with the literature review because bidang tu bidang yang baru untuk saya, dan saya minat dan saya nak cuba cari lompong dalam bidang tersebut. So strategi saya ialah untuk bermula dengan literature review, kajian literature. So strategi pertama ialah do a comprehensive review of past and current studies in the area. Know your chosen areas, know the critical scholars in the area. Ini bukan benda baru. Semua kita telah melakukan PhD. We have done our PhD successfully, alhamdulillah. And we've gone on to other researchers. So this is not new, but this is something we forget. You know, we tend to start with what we're interested in, but one strategy that I think we need to come back to is begin with a comprehensive literature review, right? Then you can identify the gap. Dan seperti yang saya sebut, literature review ini mengambil atau diberi 20 markah. Okay, so maximum. So sangat pentingnya untuk kita cuba dapat literature review yang agak komprehensif. Okay, dalam slide yang saya kongsi di sini, di belah kiri ni on the left is the details of what needs to go into the literature review. This is what the evaluators will see. Then on your right is what the comments that the evaluators give. Have a look at some of these comments. Rakan ini mendapat 7 markah, iaitu 14/20. 14/20 tak berapa bagus. Kalau boleh kita kena dapat 8. Kita kena macam ni, dapat 9, dapat 9. Ya? Kalau 7 tu maksudnya kena ada penambahbaikan. So daripada catatan penilai, these are some of the things that the evaluators are looking at. Based on Scopus research, there are 60 publications with similar keywords, include recent publications in 2020-2021. Maksudnya, saya mungkin bukan penilai dalam bidang rakan-rakan. Tapi bila saya baca topik atau proposal tersebut, dan saya buat sedikit Google search, dan saya dapati ada banyak lagi past studies yang saudara atau saudari tidak masukkan dalam kajian literature dalam proposal ini. Agak-agak markah ni macam mana? Kalau saya sendiri bukan pakar dalam bidang, dapat bahawa ada banyak kajian yang tidak dimasukkan. Yang kajian-kajian ni pula recent 2020-2021. You need to make sure it's included in your proposal, right? So a good tip would be masukkan kajian tersebut dalam bentuk citation, just in parenthesis, dalam bracket. Tak payahlah, you don't have to quote from the research, but you need to show that statements that you are making in a literature review incorporates these references. I mean, this is a whole, Dr. Muzaffar, this is a whole workshop for literature review. You know, I'm happy to conduct another session if interested, but this is a very important area that we need to focus on, you know. So that's the first strategy. Strategi kedua, so kalau strategi pertama tadi tu, kita mula dengan literature review. Strategi kedua, kertas kosong ya, this is a blank piece of paper or blank screen. You're just about to start writing your proposal. So the first strategy, you start with a section called literature review. The second strategy is, ni bukan follow one after another. Ya. You choose any one of these strategies if it works for you. Second strategy for me was, ini daripada pengalaman saya. I start with the big picture. It's like, okay, what's the big picture? What's the macro concern that I want to address? Apa isu di tahap makro yang ingin saya address, ingin saya bicarakan. So saya start dengan itu. Okay, so make a connection to the macro concerns of society and world. So I start with the macro and then I work downwards or inwards. Yeah. So then macro ini kita kena ambil kira bahawa isu makro ini atau implikasi kajian ini sangat kritikal, sangat penting dan akan dinilai dalam ringkasan eksekutif. Seperti yang saya sebut 20%. Okay? Dan sekiranya executive summary itu ditulis dengan baik, dapatan jelas, objektif dan output sangat clear, markah kita pun akan you know, it will reflect accordingly. 8 is very good. 8, 9, it's really, really good. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Strategi ketiga, like again, you're starting from scratch. Tak ada apa-apa, belum ada apa-apa idea lagi. Strategi ketiga, sebab kalau strategi kedua tadi big picture, macro, strategi ketiga terbalik. Capture it in a nutshell. Start with a title. Make your title concise and captivating. That means you start with a title. Have 3 sections in your title. You know, what are you working on? What are you focusing on? And develop a proposal based on that title. Ini juga salah satu daripada strategi yang saya guna pakai. And honestly ya, rakan-rakan semua ya, proposal kita bila dinilai, it begins and ends with a good title. Bila penilai tu baca proposal kita, daripada tajuk tadi tu akan menunjuk, it indicates whether or not proposal kita ini akan mendapat markah 3 atau tidak. Walaupun tajuk tadi itu 5 markah je tau. Ya, walaupun 5 markah je, tapi sekiranya proposal itu jelas dalam tajuk, proposalnya akan mendapat it will impress the evaluators. So if you have a very good title, you have a good chance. If you have a poor title, you have a poor chance. So it begins and ends with a good title. So lihat komen penilai ya, ulasan penilai. Title reflect whole proposal and the fundamental issue that want to solve in proposal, in full proposal. There's lots of typos, but never mind, you know. So lihat bagaimana tajuk tadi tu. Yang pertama yang dinilai oleh penilai mencerminkan satu proposal yang komprehensif, yang jelas, ya, yang mantap. So it begins and ends with the title. So start, maybe that would be one strategy. So when you're stuck, we're reading literature review, when you're stuck, like, what am I working on? Come up with a title, play around with the title. Start with working around the title and then develop the other aspects, okay? Strategy 4. This is obvious, obviously, you know. Make sure you pitch your executive summary clearly, soundly. Show how the niche can be addressed with the SMART objectives and a sound methodology. So this is really important. Bagaimana berimpak pun proposal topik kita, sekiranya kita tidak kita tak pitch, kita tak rumuskan topik kita tu dalam bentuk yang mantap, yang padat, memang tak dapat proposal tu diluluskan. Yeah, so make sure penulisan kita, cara kita put it together. So bila kita sebut SMART tadi tu, pastikan specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, within time frame. Ya, so lihat di sini, rakan ini mendapat markah 9 untuk objektif beliau. All objectives reflect methodology and problem statement and achievable. So these are the kind of comments you want to try to address or get. Ya, dan methodology pula, rakan ini mendapat markah yang tinggi dalam metodologi beliau. Methodology too brief without detail in range. Okay, dapat markah tinggi ya, tapi masih ada lompong. Lihat di situ, masih ada lompong. So komen-komen seperti ini akan diberi balik kepada penulis proposal sekiranya di tahap universiti untuk tambah baik. Walaupun markah tinggi, ada lagi lompong yang perlu diperbaiki. Ya. All right, so I'm done, Dr. Muzaffar, I'm done. So if we can go back to menti.com tadi tu, that's the end of my sharing session. So let's open for Q&A.
So we've got 2 questions on the chat section. If you want to start with that. From Associate Professor Dr. Rami, should or can we include what the literature says in the executive summary? So that's soalan pertama. Soalan kedua, do you have an example of an executive summary that shows all the requirements needed?
Okay. Answer to your first question, I think I've already covered that in the executive summary. So if you know the 5 parts, let me share the slides again. Kalau saya share balik slides pada awal tadi. Sekejap, saya tengah cari. Okay, this one. So, yeah. So if you remember what I shared earlier, dalam executive summary 5 bidang utama yang perlu kita masukkan dalam executive summary, bermula dengan problem statement, followed by objectives, methodology, deliverables, what are you able to deliver, and research impact. So kajian pasal kajian literature tadi tu, Itu penting dalam section literature review yang akan diberi markah 20, ya, over 20 marks. Tapi daripada kajian literature tadi tu, kita akan dapat kenal pasti your problem statement. So dia berkait lah, kalau kajian literature kita tak mantap, kita tak akan dapat kenal pasti permasalahan yang concise, ya, problem statement yang concise. Dan tak dapat kita utarakan atau nyatakan dalam executive summary. So berkait tapi tak perlu masukkan dalam executive summary. Mungkin boleh masukkan satu yang paling kritikal yang sangat-sangat berkait dengan bidang kita. Tapi bukan literature review secara komprehensif yang perlu kita masukkan dalam section literature review. I hope that answers the question. The second question was, I will show the example of my recent one in a minute. Let me just take the other, because I don't want to share screen and then keep coming back. So saya telah, I think this is a comment from Dr. Yuslina. Saya telah mendapat, this is a comment, but it's a brilliant observation. Brilliant, brilliant. Because again, hindsight is 2020. When you pass, when you are successful, when you don't succeed, these are part of the experiences and it helps you write a stronger proposal. Dr. Muhammad Adi, Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi, Dr. Adi. Boleh terangkan tentang carian patent? Brilliant. Yes. Carian patent sangat penting. It's not a requirement for FRGS, tapi sangat digalakkan. Dan sekiranya sesuatu proposal itu melepasi sesuatu markah, say 80 or 85%, automatically carian patent dan laporan risiko atau risk management will come up. So ini recommendation saya. To go to lens.org, right? Pergi ke pautan yang diberi oleh pihak KPT. Sekejap saya cuba ya. Bermula, sekejap. So let me share. Bermula, so this is another strategy which I never used. So I couldn't incorporate this into my presentation, but I recommend this very much. To go to, pergi ke pautan www.lens.org dan mula mencari dapatan kajian berdasarkan topik dalam bidang yang kita berminat. So you put in your area of interest or what it is that you are trying to research on. And it not only gives you patents, but it also gives you past works that is registered in lens.org. This is also helpful when you are doing your literature review. So kajian patent sangat-sangat penting. So saya sangat syorkan. Yeah, good question. Ada lagi ke? Okay. Sure, Dr. Rami, I can, if you find it useful, but honest to goodness, when you Google taklimat FRGS di Google search, ramai rakan-rakan berkongsi slides daripada Unitem, UTEM, pelbagai universiti. So, but I'm more than happy, kalau you all dapat guna, insyaAllah saya dapatlah rezeki sikit pahala kan. So, siapa yang kat tangan ni? Dr. Kamimi, silakan.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Rahana.
Waalaikumsalam.
Saya rasa ahli-ahli mungkin ada juga yang pernah cuba untuk mohon FRGS sebelum ni. Biasanya apabila telah lepas di fakulti dan juga di pihak PPPI. Tapi komen yang kadang-kadang kita terima daripada panel KPT adalah your proposal is not fundamental enough. Yang ni yang sedikit kadang-kadang kita dah cuba dah elakkan supaya dia tidak ada PRGS punya flavor, tak ada supaya dia tak nampak seperti ada produk ataupun very fundamental, we're talking about grounded theory dan sebagainya lah. So apa recommendation daripada Dr. Hana ataupun your comment on this? Thank you, Dr.
Thank you Dr. Kamimi. It's a very important question. Satu soalan yang sangat penting. Ini fokusnya lebih kepada penilai. Apa yang UKM lakukan, strategi yang UKM lakukan yang telah saya ikuti ialah saya sebagai penilai setiap tahun akan diberi taklimat. Setiap tahun dah banyak kali go through proses ini pun, setiap tahun akan ada profesor-profesor dari tahap KPT, profesor UKM yang menilai di tahap KPT yang akan memberi taklimat to remind penilai fokus utama. So salah satu daripada perkongsian dalam taklimat tersebut ialah penilai grant FRGS di tahap UKM tidak dibenarkan reject. Tapi sangat penting untuk penilai memberi maklum balas yang bernas, yang berimpak, yang boleh memberi peluang grant tadi tu untuk lulus di tahap KPT. So kami sebagai penilai kena menilai grant tersebut tu bukan sekali je. Kena banyak-banyak kali selagi kita rasa grant tersebut tidak kuat, tidak fundamental. Jadi di sini saya kena banyak berterima kasih kepada mantan timbalan dekan kami, Prof Kadar, sekarang dekan kami di FSSK. Sampai tahap akhir beliau masih lagi beri komen. Ni di tahap fakulti ya, belum tahap UKM lagi. Proposal kami perlu disaring di tahap fakulti, dan di tahap fakulti Prof Kadar sangat teliti. Sampai ke level, ini saya tak kongsi di sini, sampai ke level jurnal yang saya pilih untuk terbitkan the tentative output. Sampai ke tahap tu, dia kata, okay, jurnal ni tak, this is not the suitable journal, find another journal in JCR. I'm like, biar betul, belum dapat lagi grant ni. Kan? So, it takes a village lah, bukan seorang aja yang boleh berjaya to put together a proposal. It takes a group of people, sama ada dalam team, sama ada di tahap administrators di universiti, di fakulti, untuk memastikan proposal itu mantap. So sangat penting kita bekerja bersama. Walaupun nama kita bukan dalam grant tersebut, kita sebagai penilai katakan perlu menjalankan tugas kita dengan baik dan betul-betul meneliti proposal tersebut. Itu sangat penting. Tapi it's a very good question, and this is something we all have to address, I feel. I've got 4 more minutes. So I'm trying to get into my grant. Okay, cool. It's finally in. Sekejap ya. Okay. Tadi ada rakan yang bertanya mengenai executive summary, a sample of executive summary. So berikut adalah executive summary saya. Saya kongsikan. Ini adalah kajian yang FRGS yang baru saya dapat tahun lepas, alhamdulillah. So seperti kalau tak silap Dr. Rami yang bertanya sama ada kita perlu masukkan literature review, ya. Masukkan literature review tapi jangan masukkan tahun dan sebagainya lah. Okay. So saya bermula dengan problem statement saya. Okay, so this study problematizes what? Apa yang kajian ini, apa yang kajian ini, what does it problematize? Dan saya kaitkan juga dengan SDG. Dan saya kaitkan juga dengan past literature review, khasnya yang berkaitan terus dengan kepentingan topik saya tadi tu. Ya? Dan saya kena pasti gap. Dan kemudian the objectives, right? And the methodology, and the expected outcome or impact. And finally, how it connects to the Malaysian society and global. So 5 fokus tadi tu saya uraikan dalam. But let me tell you, this took the longest time for me. Banyak kali dan banyak komen daripada penilai. So alhamdulillah kejayaan saya mencerminkan komitmen penilai membantu saya di tahap fakulti FSSK dan juga di tahap universiti. Saya selalu doakan tau, bila saya dapat, saya cakap betul-betul, bila saya dapat komen daripada penilai, I will actually say a prayer. I said, God, please bless this person for making time, for giving me these comments, for helping me make my proposal stronger. So, saya rasa satu tanggungjawab dan amanah yang perlu kita we need to take it seriously. Just like with our students, when we give comments, and they might not like us when we give comments to them, right? But we're doing it sincerely because we want them to improve and to develop a strong proposal or a strong thesis or a strong research, right? So I think that's my sharing session and my 2 hours. Ada soalan lain kalau ada?
Yeah, so I think we're at the edge of our time limit. Kita allocate sampai pukul 11. So saya ucapkan ribuan terima kasih yang tidak terhingga kepada Associate Professor Dr. Raihana Muhammad Maidin for that wonderful, not just at application level but also how we can sustain kita punya momentum, sebab she touches upon various kita punya personal characteristics, nak berdepan dengan komen, nak berdepan dengan strategy. It's not easy, but you walk us through very clearly and very transparently, if I can put it that way. So saya mohon kepada ahli fakulti untuk bermula daripada sekarang. So right now we have September, and then Oktober kelas nak masuk, November, December. So we can start today. Maybe kita buat draft ayam dulu. We call it draft ayam. At least from my terminology. So kita buat draft sikit-sikit, and then put it aside and then come back to it later. Macam yang Prof Raihana cakap tadi, it takes a village. Village ni maksud you kena pitch, you have to look at areas of specialization, talk to people untuk develop proposal ni. So insyaAllah, dan juga reminder sekali lagi kepada ahli fakulti yang baru masuk, at the faculty level kita sudah selesai pada hari ini untuk membantu ahli-ahli fakulti develop FRGS proposal. InsyaAllah RMC akan membuat satu lagi sesi FRGS pada 5 Oktober. So linknya nanti refer kepada maklumat Info Pro, dan juga another rehash of reminders. Geran Community IPT Keluarga Malaysia dah keluar, Geran Harta Tanah Negara juga keluar. So kat situ ada inclusivity, so maybe kita boleh submit application bawa those topics. Okay, ribuan terima kasih dan wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Take care everybody. Assalamualaikum.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Thank you, Prof.
Terima kasih. Thank you.
Terima kasih.